The largest token linked to a political figure, Memecoin, rises after Trump's assassination attempt over the weekend. We saw that happen on Saturday. And popping up on our radar in South Africa, Pick and Pay. They're pricing rights issues at 32.48% discount. Will this be enough of a lure for shareholders considering the group's performance? We're going to have to wait and see. And of course, we'll have that conversation. There's also anticipation ahead with announcements of Dangote Refinery and Fertilizer plants set for Q1 2025 stock market debut. A lot of excitement around that. We'll also be having that conversation. But let's begin with a quick market recap. On the Nigerian exchange, a fair start to the week. The all-share index inching very close to 100,000 levels to close at 99,909.48. Although still below the 100,000 plus that it opened up beginning of month. The question is, will the bulls win back the markets this week? We'll be tracking that and we'll have to wait and see. Looking at the top gainers, electrical cable makers, Q-Tix PLC came in as the best performing stocks today. They obviously are continuing their outstanding performance from last Friday, gaining 9.96% to achieve a whopping 20.95 appreciation in 2 trading days. We can see them up there at number 1. Chelarams, they came in. We're coming to losers now, right? They came in a 9.76 decline. International Breweries was also a stock of note as they declined by 4.20% there. And now we're moving straight up to the currencies market. The Naira has been, up for conversation recently. It's down marginally against the dollar. We know that CBN has been doing the most that it can to infuse that market, but the dollar declined marginally 0.37%. With cryptocurrencies, right? It's a bullish wave across global. Obviously, with cryptocurrencies, it's a bullish wave across global crypto markets, with crypto investors betting an increased chance on a Trump presidency. Whether or not that will be the case, November 2024 will tell. Much later, we'll take a peek into other African markets, but right now we're going on a break. Oladipo Ajayi will be joining us to break down today's markets activities afterwards. Stay with us. All right, you're tuned in to Market Pulse. Right now, we're picking up the pulse of the day with Oladipo Ajayi. He is the head fixed incomes at Chapel Hill Denham. It's a pleasure to have you in.
Very much, and for having me this evening.
All right, let's start with a stock we will be tracking, right, on the JSE Johannesburg Stock Exchange. South Africa's third biggest grocery group. They're looking to reduce its debt. Pick and Pay. They're set to issue 252.2 million new shares at 15.86 rands per share in a rights offer to raise 4 billion rands. The terms equate to a 32% discount to the share price as of 10th July when it was announced. We've seen the company's net debt escalate to 6.1 billion rands in the year. They've also been losing market share to bigger rivals, ShopRite. The board has announced a 2-step recapitalization plan comprised of rights issues and the proposed listing of the discount grocery retailer Boxer. What do you make of their strategy, and do you think this discount could be enough to lure shareholders considering the state of PNP's books and overall performance right now?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think what has happened to PNP is not peculiar to them. It's something that is happening across the globe. In US, we'll be seeing a lot of stores actually closing down some of their branches across the US. And I think this is also one of the things that PNP is currently going through. PNP is like the third biggest grocery group in South Africa, and they have over 2,000 stores across South Africa and 7 other countries. And currently, they're actually going through the same thing that most companies are actually currently going through globally. And if you look at their financials that was published February, it shows that the company posted like about 3.2 billion rand loss. And just like you mentioned, their debts escalated to over 6.1 billion rand. So at this particular point in time, they are actually facing more like a solvency and liquidity risk. And so they need to actually solve the problem. And one of the ways to solve the problem is to reduce your exposure in form of debt. And so what they are trying to do is to actually raise more money from existing shareholder. And that's one of the reasons why they are coming to the market at about 32.4% discount. And I think that is massive when you look at where they are coming to the market, 15.86 kobo, compared to where he actually trading in the market. So I think it's a very good one for investors. And we have even seen a big order of the company like Hackman. They already committed to take about over a billion rand value of that shares in this rights issue. So anyone that actually wants to invest now, of course, it's open to only existing shareholders if they decide to actually allow it to just slide. But it's actually a very good one for anyone that actually wants to actually invest. And couple the fact that aside the recapitalization strategy, they're also looking at actually listing their resale business, which is more like the Boxer. And if you look at Boxer, is one of the company that is growing very fast in South Africa. This company was actually started in 1977, but PMP bought into this company in 2002, and since then, it's been a major part of the business. So they're also looking at actually listing this business. And what that will mean is also a form of actually getting cash flow from listing the business so as to be able to actually further improve the current status of PMP.
All right, thank you so much for that, Oladipo. Kenya, let's come to Kenya now. We've seen a lot of activity in recent, over the past 1 month, right? Kenya, we know now, is eyeing a return to the international capital markets with a fresh Euro bond in 2026. We know there are already questions being raised over the government's ability to push forward their fiscal consolidation methods or measures. There's a Moody's credit rating downgrade that happened a week ago, and of course, growing concerns around the sovereign bond default. What's your assessment of the timing of this? And with the two scheduled sovereign bond and private placements between 2023-2024 financial year and 2027-28 cycle, what potential outcomes can we anticipate?
Yeah, if you look at it critically, 4 African nations has been in the Eurobond market this year. We've seen Cordova broke the highs in January, and after that we saw Benin Republic in the market. Kenya was on the market in February as well, and the last was Senegal. And if you check among these 4 countries that they were in the market to raise one, it was only Kenya that actually raised fund at a higher level pricing compared to the others. Cordova was able to actually raise at a very low level. But as we speak currently, a lot of people are waiting for the best time to actually hit the Eurobond market. Even Nigeria is also considering that as well. And basically what the whole market is actually waiting for is a situation whereby the Fed will actually show forth their dovishness into the market. As we speak, market is expecting rate cut from the Fed, but it seems that we will not get anything from them until later in the year. And but when you look at what Kenya is currently trying to do, they did something in February to repay down the obligation that is due sometimes June, July. And what they are looking at is to also visit the market sometime in 2026. It means that they have ample time to actually come to the market. And by the time Kenya is coming to the market, I think the market will be a very great one by then, because you expect the aggressive policy of the US Fed to have actually toned down. And by so doing, it means that rates would have dropped and give them a very good room to actually come to the market. So I think it will be a very good timing for them to actually come to the market. And also another good one is that they would have been able to sort many issues that most investors are having with African and sub-Saharan African countries like Ghana, like Zambia, because currently, Ghana is trying to just fine-tune agreement with investors so as to actually find a way to rewrite their name as well. And Zambia has done something like that as well. So I think within that time frame, they have the opportunity to come to the market and be able to raise money at a very good rate by then, because you expect most of these foreign inflows to start trooping in aggressively to the African markets.
All right, we'll be tracking that as well. Let's come a little closer to Nigeria, right? We're looking at something to anticipate. Africa's largest conglomerates, Dangote Group, they've announced plans to list 2 of their subsidiaries. It's much anticipated refinery as well as fertilizer plants on the Nigerian exchange group by Q1 2025. What are your general sentiments around this listing, and how big of a deal is this for the NGX? I believe there's also conversation about it being a dual listing on the London Stock Exchange too.
I think this will be massive for NGX when a company like Dangote is actually coming on board. This is a company that has valuation of about over $20 billion value. And imagine such company actually listing on the exchange. It's actually a big plus. Because what it will mean is that it will increase our market cap aggressively. Currently, we are north of 50 trillion. So it's 50 trillion. So it simply means that by the time we still see Dangote listed on the exchange, there's every tendency that will be over 100 trillion by then. And also another good thing is that the fact that it's going to be dual listing. So what he's trying to do is mimic what we have for Seplat and Airtel Nigeria, and it brings fungibility to the table. It means that you can actually have the stock in London and trade it in Nigeria. You can also have the stock in Nigeria and trade it in London. So it makes the stock more very liquid. It makes it more open to investors, and also it means that the stock will not be actually enclosed for only Nigerian investors. So it means that global investors can actually come to the London Stock Exchange to actually buy that stock, and also you have people actually coming to the NGS to actually buy the stock. So I think it's a very good one, and it's a stock that I feel that every average Nigerian should also look out for and also be particular of it.
All right, thank you very much. I'm sure investors will be doing warm-ups for that listing Q1 2025. Thank you, Oladipo Ajayi, Head of Fixed Income at Chapel Hill Denham. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. It's a pleasure. And over the weekend, of course, a rather unfortunate incident took place and put pressure, of course, on the Memecoin, which was linked to former U.S. President and once again presidential aspirant in the U.S. elections coming up in November, Donald Trump. We're going to get into that after the break. Stay with us. You're watching Market Pulse. Right now, we want to get a feel of general sentiments around a particular stock, policy direction, or initiative. In today's case, it's a meme coin, right? And for the record, meme coins are cryptocurrencies which are named after characters, individuals, animals, artworks, or anything else that can be mimicked, perhaps even you one day. But you can be a part of this conversation. Let's know if this is something you're buying into or you're selling, that is, it's something you are, not believing in, or you're holding on to adopting a wait and see approach. A poll will be up and actually is up live right now on Nairametrics X page. So join in. Let's get a feel of your pulse. There are often geopolitical events which are constantly driving the markets, whether it's the fixed incomes markets, whether it's equities markets, as well as cryptocurrencies, right? The crypto market. Over the weekend, former U.S. President Donald Trump was the target of an assassination attempt during a campaign event in Pennsylvania on Saturday. He was injured by a bullet which grazed his right ear, and this incident has generated a lot of reactions. I'm sure you are one of those who reacted to it as well, not just in a public space, but within the crypto community. MAGA coin, which is a meme coin inspired by Donald Trump, surged by 46.9% following this assassination attempt. It surged from $6.31 to $10.36, which resulted in its market capitalization growing from, note this, $293 million to a whopping $469 million. in less than 45 minutes after the incident. Now, joining me now is David Olujimi, the financial markets analyst with Nairametrics, to discuss this. Good evening, David.
Good evening.
All right, we'd love to hear more of you. Now, where is the MAGA coin right now in terms of market cap? And what's the conversation in the crypto community right now that's driving the surge of this MAGA coin?
So basically, the MAGA coin is about $323 million in market cap. It's dropped to about $8 and some cents. So basically, what we see now is just what we call Uno reverse, because prior to the 2020 elections in the US, when Donald Trump was president and Joe Biden was running against him, Donald Trump called cryptocurrencies a scam. He says they don't have a future, and he basically said the only currency that is standing and which we'll be doing business by in the US is the United States dollar. He was very optimistic, but what we see today is a switch. So in June this year, Donald Trump made some statements, took some steps in pulling support for himself from the crypto community. He took major steps, one of which was investing about $100 million. That is according to speculations, though. And we see what is going on today. So the moment the attempt happened, is like the crypto community was already rejoicing. Our guy is going to get there, but we don't know. We still have 4 or 5 months till November. So it's just a momentary, because this is the thing, the world likes an underdog. The world likes an underdog story. So it seems like, oh, who was
I'm not sure. All right. Yeah, so sorry to interrupt you. I'm not sure they will consider Trump an underdog. Yeah. But yes, the crypto community rallying behind him there, more confidence, and of course, November this year will tell. But with this pretty much sudden surge, would you tag this a bull trap, right? A sudden surge buyers should be wary of, or perhaps a long-term rally in the build-up to the US elections this November and beyond?
Definitely a bull trap.
All right.
Like I said, get in and get out.
Getting and get out. And real quick, before we tie things together, are we seeing other markets as well react to this Trump assassination attempt, and how?
Basically, we'll say the crypto market is basically reacting. The crypto market is essentially reacting. Of course, Bitcoin crossed the 63,000 mark today. Ether almost hit the $3,400 mark today. But in the stock market, we are seeing like a bearish sentiment. However, is not lasting. So when you check data today, you see that for the European market, which were the first to open, there was literally like they just literally went down first of all. But in the American market, we are seeing slight upticks. So basically, it's not really had much effect on the equities market. But on the crypto market, like we've just been discussing, the crypto market is very, very bullish and is very optimistic of Trump's chances at the presidency in November.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Financial market analyst with Nairametrics, David Olujimi. It's been a pleasure getting your perspective. All right. It's in your hands right now. The poll is up on X at Nairametrics. Trump-linked meme coin, the MAGA. Buy, sell, or hold? What's your pulse on that? Let us know. All right. The African markets are up next on the agenda. Let's see how they are doing. All right, it's a slow start, of course, to the week with all indexes down across the markets we track in Africa. Aside the NSE, Nairobi Stock Exchange, we're seeing that up pretty much flat, though, just up 5 basis points. And of course, the NGX was also up, but all other indexes down this close of trading today. Yeah, that's the African markets for you. And also the show for today. We'll be keeping an eye, of course, on the JSE with the pick and pays recapitalization. The price of 4 billion rands rights issues at 1/3 discount. Let's see how that turns out, whether that gingers shareholders. Also, we're tracking data released from Nigeria's National Bureau of Statistics, especially on inflation. Let's see how this influences decision making actually at the CBN's MPC meeting later this month. And of course, we know that that would have a ripple effect on the Nigerian market. Stay informed and join me at 4 p.m. on Market Pulse on News Central in partnership with Nairametrics. I'm leaving you, of course, with the markets outside of the continent. From me here, Kwaheri.